Welcome to the Fitness Plus Technology Podcast for club owners, operators, and fitness professionals. Each week, host Bryan O'Rourke brings you an expert interview with a global influencer at the crossroads of fitness and technology. You gain the insights, tools, and inspiration you need to stay connected to the pulse for what matters most for your business in the age of exponential technologies.
Well, hello, listeners, and welcome to episode 149 of the Fitness Plus Technology Podcast. I'm your host, Bryan O'Rourke, and today we have Pablo from FitnessKPI, based in Barcelona, and Pablo Viñaspre has been in the industry of sports, wellness, and fitness for about a quarter of a century. We're going to talk about artificial intelligence, software management, technology, and a number of interesting subjects. I find Pablo to be a very engaging person with a lot of experience. And so I really look forward to sharing his insights. Before we join that interview, I'd also like to thank my friends at the Gold's Gym Franchise Association, Ginger, Deborah, Tara, the whole team. I know I'm missing a few of them. And the leadership of the Gold's Gyms Franchise Association, of course, Kim and a bunch of other people, Corey and many others. It was great to speak at that event last week at the Bellagio Hotel in Las Vegas. I've had a great affinity for the brand and the franchisees for many years, so we had a great time talking about the future and seeing a lot of friends there. So I also want to let you know I will be out and about in Europe in the fall, and hope to connect with folks around the United States as I'm traveling quite a bit. If you need anything, as I mentioned at the end of the podcast, please reach out and let's connect. Now, without further ado, let's join the interview with Pablo at FitnessKPI. Hello, listeners, and welcome to the podcast. As I mentioned in the intro, we have from Spain and, Pablo, who has joined the Fitness Industry Technology Council recently. Pablo, thanks for joining us today and spending some time chatting.
My pleasure, Bryan. Thank you very much. And it's a pleasure to be here with all of you.
You know, it's something we were chatting about before we got started the recording, is the startup community and technology in Spain. In the past few years, I've had conversations with a number of people in Spain that are doing a lot of interesting things. I think the government is very active now in the startup community and providing forums. I think you just had an event yesterday that you were recognized in the startup community. Can you share for our listeners a little bit about what's going on in Spain when it comes to startups and tech from your experience?
Yes. Yeah, as you mentioned, the startup community is growing in many countries, but in Spain is a strong community right now. I think there is a big difference with our parents and grandparents, that they thought that the world was changing, but they were just waiting for things to change. But now the young people, they know that they have to empower the change, and they are leading the change. So that's the reason why so many startups are growing and bringing innovative solutions to many of the old problems and from the companies. In Spain, different cities are competing to be the most important innovation hub in Spain and also in Europe. Barcelona is one of those cities, Madrid also, Malaga, and Valencia. In fact, I'm in an ecosystem in Valencia that is the biggest ecosystem for startups in Spain, that is called Lanzadera. And they have hundreds of startups working every day there and trying to innovate in different verticals. And it's a great place to be with a lot of energy.
Yeah, it really is. And as I mentioned, over the past several years, to me, it's really become noticeable in the last 3 or 4 years. I've really noticed a lot of startups that I've talked to. Yep.
Yeah, and also despite of the up and downs in the economy, there is a lot of money available for innovation and for great ideas. So
Yeah,
that's very good news.
that is
I
great
think
news.
for our industry also.
Yeah, that's great news, Pablo. It's fantastic news. So, you know, as I mentioned in the intro I recorded separately about your background, you know, master's degree in exercise science from Austin, University of Texas Austin, I believe, and you've been advising and consulting in this space for many years. Although you look very young, I don't know, your resume doesn't match your youthful appearance, but you've seen a lot of technology over the years in sports and fitness. What are some of your observations, given your career, on technology adoption in the space?
Yeah, well, the first thing is that right now, I think in the next 2 or 3 years, we are going to see a huge change in technology in any industry. And the reason why that's going to happen is not because we are going to invent new technology. The technology that we need is already there. The big difference is going to come because different technologies are going to mix with one to another, and they are going to create a huge difference in how we apply technology. And that's going to happen in medicine, with robotics, with artificial intelligence, with nanotechnology. When they mix and they start to talk to each other, different technologies, that's going to make a huge change. The same is going to happen in transportation. The same is going to happen in fitness and in any other industry. So that's what the experts are saying, that the changes that we are going to see are changes that are based on technology that already exists. But the mixture of different technologies is going to make the difference. So that's going to be very, very passionate. Another thing about our industry is that we are in a moment where we're a little bit confused with the technology, and that's normal. That's the way it should be, because we are in the first phase, in the first steps of how to implement technology. So now we have a lot of things that we can use, but we have to organize a little bit what to use, why to use, and we have to go back to basics and say, okay, which are the fundamental basics of my business? How do I want to compete? How do I want to differentiate? And then what technology do I need to make that possible? But for me, that's the biggest point now, is to organize everything and get the technology in order in the companies.
Yes.
But
yeah, convergence, right? Convergence of all these different technologies coming together. It makes predicting what is actually going to happen a little, you don't really know exactly. You know generally, but you don't know exactly. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, we don't know what's gonna come. We know that the industry is gonna be relying a lot more on technology, for sure. We know that some human works are going to be questioned, and maybe they're going to disappear, and we have to adapt to that. But human plus technology is going to make the difference. And I always want to talk about one example, that is how to personalize the service in the customer experience, because we've been trying to personalize for many years, and we have not been able to achieve a great personalization level. We don't even know the name of our customers for most of them. So, and I'm not talking about the goal that they have, for how long they have been as a member, which activities or services they like. We don't even know the name. And it's impossible to personalize without technology. Sure. So now we have a great opportunity if we take the right technology and use that with the right people to make a huge difference in the customer experience.
Yes, no, I agree. And that's where, you know, the rubber hits the road when it comes to innovation and technology, is applying these possibilities to the real world and actually making things happen, right? That's the challenge, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the real challenge, and I just want to say this, because many people, especially some employees, they see technology as a threat, as they are worried about technology is going to take my place, And we have an opportunity that we have never had before. So it's a great opportunity to improve the customer experience, and that's going to mean a better retention and a higher penetration in the population. So that's what we are looking for.
Yes. And so this leads to your story when it comes to your company, FitnessKPI. So with your background in sport and fitness and all the years you've worked in that arena, what, about 4 or 5 years ago, you came up with an idea. Can you tell us how that started and why?
Yes, sure. Yeah, I spent the last 25 years of my career working as a fitness consultant, and my job was to go to the club, work with the management teams, and try to improve the outcome of the companies. The first thing I did when I went to a company, to a customer, said, okay, bring me your data so I can analyze the situation of the company and we can decide in which direction we have to move. And they didn't have much data. So the access to data was too late, not too much data. Many decisions were made on intuition. And I saw an opportunity there. Say, okay, we need to change this. We need to bring data to the clubs so they can make better decisions. And that's how we started. We decided to create FitnessKPI to be the best business intelligence software for the industry. And the first thing we did was to integrate with any database, bring all that data to a single place, show it to you in a user-friendly way, easy to analyze. And that was the first step. Once we did that, we went to the market, started selling the product, but we saw that many managers, they had data, they had more than 200 KPIs, but they really didn't knew or didn't have the time or they didn't want to analyze all that data to make decisions. So we decided to go one step forward, and we decided to create Anna. Anna is our artificial intelligence that knows about the business, because has the knowledge of 25 years of consultancy. And Anna is able to analyze any company in less than 5 seconds. It's like a virtual consultant, but a lot faster, and making any analysis against previous period, against the benchmarking, against everything. So now we have the data, and we had the ability to analyze that data. But we saw that many managers, they didn't convert all that data into actions. And the only thing that improved the companies are the actions. So we decided to go another step further, and we created a CRM model that, using all that data, is able to automatize any type of action. And when you automatize actions with a high level of segmentation, you are personalizing the communication and how you treat the members and everything. So that's why we do, and that's why we say we go from data to actions, because we have the data, we analyze that with artificial intelligence, and we automatize actions using the artificial intelligence also.
So do you think we're in the early days of automation and data insights for the space?
Of course. We are in the early days. I think that we already can do a lot of things that we could not do before, but we are on the early days. We need to improve a lot still with artificial intelligence and how to use the artificial intelligence to go to a hyper personalization of the communication with the member, and also with the actions. Because when we talk about automating actions, we are also talking about predictions, because we can act on a member that is going to cancel in 3 months before he thinks he's going to cancel the subscription. So we are at the early stage. And if we want to see the future, in the future, many facilities will use systems like the one we have. They put the system in an automatic mode, they go to sleep, and the system will be working with thousands of automations, working every day, looking for that member and executing the action. So many things will be automated, but that's already in other industries.
Yes.
Like many hotels today, they change the price of the rooms like 100 times a day.
Yes.
There is not one person analyzing data and proposing the change of the price. That's
right.
an artificial intelligence doing that. So many companies are going to manage in an automatic way in many things. And that's great because that gives time to the managers to do other things, especially to be a good leaders, be with the team, be with the members, and make things happen. So that's also a great opportunity.
Yes. No, I agree. So what do you think are the barriers for companies adopting these kind of tools like your cool tool? Because effective automation with built-in intelligence is still not very widely adopted. What do you think is keeping it from happening?
Probably there are different reasons for that. First of all, because the few companies that we are working on automation is still a new area, it's very new. So we are getting the early adopters, but we have to wait a little bit more to get more confidence from the industry. Also, we have to improve and develop our products more also. But there are other reasons that are breaking down a little bit the speed of this system to grow. And one is this disorder that I was talking about in anything related to the digital things and technology in the fitness clubs. They say, oh, maybe my priority is a CRM, maybe my priority is to change the ERP, maybe I need a BI. So there is a disorder, and many managers, they see technology, but they don't relate the technology with the outcome of the business. So they have to, as I said before, they have to go back to basics, decide how they want to compete, and then look for the technology. And there is a symptom that tells us that something is going wrong at the moment, that for many companies, they leave the decision about technology on the IT department. And it shouldn't be that way, because technology is going to affect any area of the club. So the top manager should take the decision about what technology he needs. And the IT will look for that technology, will make that work, will do the integration or help with that. But you cannot leave all the technology to an IT department, because it affects so much to your business. You are the one who knows what you need. And you tell the IT department, I need a technology that is able to do this, because this is how we compete. Right. But now many companies don't do it that way. They say, no, the IT department, you look for the technology that we need.
Yes, it's a mindset thing too. With leadership, you have to understand around the customer, right? What is you're trying to accomplish, and then technology is a tool that you use to execute that. You're so right, because I think what creates a lot of challenges and barriers to adoption are the things you mentioned. Number one, putting decision-making on technology in a silo as though it's some kind of outsourced function that isn't core to the business.
It doesn't affect the business.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And secondly is realizing that when you have a new ability to do something, you have to change your thinking about how you actually apply this, because it doesn't matter what you were doing in the year 2000. I mean, what matters is what you're doing in the year 2023, correct?
Yeah. And the thing about technology is that it's going to grow exponentially. So the changes are going to be so fast that you have to start getting into technology now, because if not, you're going to be too late already.
Yeah, that's so true, Pablo. And for the audience, yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, because as you said, the mindset that you need, and also how do you have to reorganize your company?
Yes.
Because with technology, many things that you are doing with human work, you are not going to need to do it with human work.
That's right.
So use that people to do other things that bring more value to the company and to the customer. Yes. And use technology to replace that. And that's for me, that's one of the key points in the future. It is for the managers to decide in which point of the customer experience they have to put technology,
And people.
and in which point they have to put 100% people and human touch. And decide that is to be one of the most critical points.
Yes, that's so true. It's centered to how you deliver your service in a way that's unique to you and what your competitive capabilities are, as you articulated earlier. Pablo, you've done a lot. And by the way, for the listeners in the show notes, we'll have Pablo's LinkedIn connection and his company, FitnessKPI, so you can learn more about what he does. But as I always try to do toward the end here, Pablo, is to ask you, given your accomplishments, you have a track record, as I explained in the beginning, in the space. Is there any advice or words of wisdom you would share with other professionals around their careers and around their businesses? What thoughts could you provide? Pearls of wisdom, as they say.
Well, I don't like too much giving advice, because I think we are all fighting to do our best. But I started a startup when I was 55. It's not an age to start a startup company. I'm so happy to have been done that, and that's probably my advice: to be brave. If you want to innovate, if you want to leave an impact around you, be brave and go for it, for the ideas that you have, because you are going to enjoy that if you follow your heart.
Be brave. That's I think that's good advice. Don't try to fight your fear, and be brave. That's good advice. Well, Pablo, are you heading out to the event in Singapore this weekend? Are you going out there to that big event?
Yeah, leaving day after tomorrow, and I'll be there next week in Singapore. Willing to be there. It's a great event with a great people organizing the event, and I'm sure we're gonna have a great time there.
Well, Singapore is a great place, a great country, a great group of people putting that together. We have a number of our colleagues going there. I'll hope to go next year potentially, because I hear so many great things about it. And I think you're going to be sitting on a panel with some folks and doing various things while you're there, right?
Yes, we'll be talking about technology. That's what we like, and trying to make people question their ideas and think a little bit out of the box. So that's the panel will be around how to use technology in the fitness industry.
Yeah. Well, Pablo, thank you for spending time with the audience and sharing your insights and story behind your company. It's been a pleasure to chat with you, and I know we'll be talking again soon.
For sure. Thank you very much, Bryan, and hello to everybody.
Hello, listeners. This is Bryan O'Rourke, and thanks so much for listening to the Fitness Plus Technology Podcast. The podcast is made possible by the Fitness Industry Technology Council, a consortium of global brands working together to enhance the adoption of technologies in the fitness space. Our company, Videri Ventures, which is invested in Vertimax, Montezuma, Gold's Gym, Houston, Texas, and Fitness 24/7 Thailand, also underwrites the podcast, along with our service companies, Integris Advisors, Moon Mission Media, and others. Please feel free to share this podcast with your colleagues. And if I can be of any assistance to you, don't hesitate to reach out, bryank.o'rourke@gmail.com, or find me on any of the major social networks. Have a great day, and thanks for listening.